Alright, in this video I'm going to show you how to complete the Aperture project. This file is located in the handout folder. You're going to want to navigate to the Photo 1-2 folder, look for Aperture, and then go in that folder and open this file. So have this file open in Photoshop, and then we're going to go to Bridge and we're going to look at the 6 photographs that we did the other day. Now in these 6 photographs we have a variety of f-stops. So this first one, you can see that if you look over in the metadata, it shows that I took this at f2.8. Then the next one over here is f4, and then f5.6. This one is 8, 11, and 16. You want to have 6 photographs taken of the same scene at these different f-stops. And basically what we're looking to see here is how does the depth of field change. At f2.8, the tree, the foreground is very sharp. I'm focused on the tree. But our background here is very blurry. And then as you progress through things, it becomes more and more sharp. At this one here, f16, you can see that this is sharp, and then the background is becoming more and more sharp. We're getting a deeper depth of field in this photograph. So let's go ahead and open this image up in Photoshop. If you double click on it, it'll open up in Photoshop. Now, what I want to do is, you can see that I've got these 2 tabs here. This is my Aperture one, and then here is my photograph. You need to go to your Move tool and move the layer. But you'll notice at first it's saying you can't move it. So what we need to do is unlock this layer. Right now it's a background layer and it's locked. Double click on that, so it'll say OK. Now I can grab this photograph and drag it up into here and then drop it into this picture. So now I need to resize this picture. I need to transform it. So if I go up to Edit, Free Transform, I can either click here, or you can also see that it shows you Control-T is another option. So if that's one option, I can also push Control-T on my keyboard, and now I have the transformation box. Now something to know, don't grab at the middle and just drag it like that. We don't want it to be an unproportioned when you're scaling it. We want to keep the proportion correct. So if you find yourself here, just hit Escape and then Control-T again. Grab at the corner and hold Shift on your keyboard, and that's going to keep the proportions correct. Now I've scaled it and I've made it smaller. I still need to set my transformation. I can go up here and click this check mark, or I can push Enter on my keyboard. Now I can use my Move tools to move the image around. So I'm using the arrows on my keyboard to move the image. I can also hold Shift to make it move a little bit faster. So a couple of things here. If you look over in the layers, you can go ahead and turn the eyeball off. So now we're just seeing the background layer. What I want to do now is make a selection. By default, you probably have the Quick Selection tool in your toolbars over here. If you click and hold down, you'll see the Magic Wand tool. Now I need to go and select my background layer. Now what I can do here is I'm clicking on different things, and that's activating. It's making an active selection. You can see these. Sometimes these are called marching ants. Sometimes people call them marching ants. So I'm selecting these different things. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select this box here, turn this layer back on. I need to go activate layer 1, and then this is a layer mask. So if I click on this, it's going to mask it out, and now that photograph fits in this film sprocket really nicely. Alright, let's go and get the second image and repeat the process. So here's F4. I'm going to double click on that. I'm going to drag it in here. I need to unlock the layer. Click OK. I'm going to go to my Move tool. If you want to do your shortcut, you can push V. Now, drag it up into the Aperture tab, release it. I'm going to line up this arrow, Control-T, hold Shift, and then place it. Now I'm going to push Enter, and I'm going to use my arrow keys to move it around. Now I know that I kind of know how this works. I'm going to go to my Magic Wand. I'm going to go to the background layer. I know that I'm on the background layer, so I can select that, go back to layer 2, and then put a mask on there. Alright, so I've got my 2 together. Let's repeat it again. Here is my f5.6. Double click on that. Unlock the layer. Click OK. Move tool is V. Drag it into this tab. Let it go. Line it up over here. I can also go Edit, Free Transform. Remember to hold Shift. Scale it down. Now I need to do the check mark or press enter. Here's where it gets a little tricky. Go to the background layer, go to your magic wand, make your selection. Now let's say you didn't go to the background layer. Let's say you just were doing this, and all of a sudden you start to see selections of the tree, and you're like, what's going on? Just go back to your background layer to do your selection, and then go back to layer 1 and click on that. Sometimes people apply the mask to the background. Let's show you what that looks like. That can be a problem. If that happens, we don't want any masks on the background. And actually, if this happens, it's a pretty simple solution. Is if you just select the mask on the background layer, you can drag it up and put it on there. So you can kind of fix your work. All right, go ahead and complete the other two, and I'm going to show you one last thing. All right, so I've gone ahead and I've finished my project. I have my 6 photographs in here. I can see that I get an idea now of how f-stop and the aperture affects the depth of field. Now I want to talk about, take you back to Photoshop. So here we are, we have our different layers. We're looking in the layers palette. We have these 7 layers. And this is great because we can continue to edit our layers. I want you always to save a version of your Photoshop file. Right now this file type is a Photoshop file, but when you go to turn things in, I need you to flatten these layers down into one single one. So let's go through that process. If you go to File, Save As, and then navigate to this PC, go to your H drive, Photo 1, 2, go into your project folder, and we're going to save a version of the Photoshop file. So right now it's Aperture Project, it's Photoshop. I'm just going to click OK. And I've already got one in here, but I can replace it, so I'm going to click OK. So I've made my version of the Photoshop file. Now I want to be able to turn this in. So what we're going to do is we need to flatten all these layers, because when you turn it into me, this is a very large file. So let's make it more manageable. We're going to go to Layer and Flatten Image. And then what that does is it takes all those layers and it flattens them down and it locks the layer. Now, we also need to go and turn this into a JPEG. So we're going to go File, Save As, and then we're still in the project folder, so we can go ahead and what we need to do though is put our last name, comma, first name on this, and then go dash. Looks like I already got one in there. Okay. Now for the saving as the file type, we need to click on this, and then we're going to select JPEG. And there's quite a few JPEG options. We just want to do this top one. So now we've made it a JPEG, and there's already one existing here. I'm going to say OK. So that's the file that you're ultimately going to turn into the iDrive. If you got any questions, let me know. Thanks, guys.